We've been conducting some of these end-to-end value streams for quite a long time. We kind of started in the mid-1990s. There's a whole crowd in this front here that are kind of eyeballing me that will remember some of these kind of projects. The supply chain development program done at Cardiff, the lean processing program, some stuff that we did in China, the international car distribution program, etc., etc. And just for posterity, I kind of thought I would put up, this was from about 2000 and was actually a research project that we did at Cardiff, and it was sponsored by some European research money, where we basically compared supply chains back from vehicle assemblers all the way back to steel production in Japan and in Europe, and we saw considerable differences. And some of this kind of research went into the Seeing the Whole book that Dan was talking about that was published quite 2003. So, but I think the issue really is, at the time when we were doing a lot of those pieces of work, there were quite different trends to the things that we see now. And you know, Peter Watkins eloquently explained some of the issues and some of the risks associated with actually not designing supply chains. And some of the trends at the time when we were originally doing that work were really all around outsourcing, offshoring, taking stuff to lowest labour cost, and then actually asking the facilities that were left to compete with those lowest labour cost areas and provide competitive bids. And I think, you know, as Peter showed in that map that he showed about the total system, the result is actually a spaghetti world, where actually even the logistics strategy and the third-party logistics providers became outsourced as well, and where actually, and most importantly, many organisations just didn't understand their supply network. So, what we've done in the Seeing, to upgrade the Seeing the Whole book, and I thought it was Dave's point about designers do their best work when they're not interrupted, which is great, isn't it? And for anybody that's ever written anything, you do your best work when you're not interrupted. So you throw your phone in the bin, and you try and make sure that there isn't any other distractions. So we spent a few weeks in the summer not being distracted, and we wrote a few more cases to complement the stuff that had already been put into the Seeing the Whole book. And you might recognise this from earlier in the day, although, you know, it'll take some recognition. But it's what we did was we tried to very much simplify some of the work that we'd done on taking the global system supply chain to basically look at that whole lead time that a product takes, and also the number of locations that a product passes through. So very similar to the stuff Peter talked about. And we also did, we wrote up a few of these cases. You know, most of the time we're so busy doing these things and we just don't get time to write them up. So we wrote up cases like a retailer case to get into the retail network, and also cases that take products to the end customer as well. And I think actually that when you're doing any of this kind of activity, there are a couple of really big challenges. One big challenge is actually, you know, one of the key outputs from this end-to-end extended value stream mapping work is actually to create agreement on how well the process is performing, but also to think about how you're going to actually share the benefits and the gains and stuff. So it's always been our intention, and we've kind of had this model right from the early research that I talked about before, just getting a team to walk this extended value stream, everybody to map all the steps and try and create the agreement on how well the process works, and see how well we can work, how we can work together to get some of the gains. And Peter touched on this, and I think this is, I kind of want to leave you with these couple of thoughts, really. He talked, I don't know how many times he said, the supply chains ended up the way they ended up because we actually didn't design them. So, our challenge to you is that I think one of the, there are several roles of leadership in implementing lean. Setting the vision, definitely, but actually designing and supporting the processes that provide value to the customers, the value streams, is a key task of management and of leadership. And we've seen that in the hospital cases that we saw before lunch, and we've seen that in some of these in these cases after lunch too. And then the third component of the leader's role is actually developing people to take responsibility for solving the problems. And we've had lots of the strands of that throughout the day so far. So, this in Peter's talk was his level 3 flow. If you kind of, you want to take a look back at the slides afterwards, it's the level 3 flow stuff. And how you know whether and how you do that, in terms of setting the vision, designing the value streams, developing the people. We know is about going and seeing and spending times on the front lines, about asking why, and about respecting people. So please, take a look. We sweated long and hard over the summer with these cases. We've tried to sort of really bring that whole piece up to date, and I think the cases that people presented today have shown that there's probably another era for this supply chain stuff. And actually, if this all is about solving business problems, then there is a real opportunity to use some of that stuff that we wrote several years ago and to re-energize it.